What's up, everybody? We have another review for you today. Today we are talking about my thoughts on the first weekend of the new Modern Warfare 4 beta. I played just about 24 hours, so I definitely put the time in. I definitely got a feel for the game. I played everything. I played the campaign mission, I did the mobility course, I did kill block, I did 6v6, so I tried it all out. So as usual, we're going to go through our pros, our so-sos, and our cons, and then I'm going to wrap it up, give my final thoughts, give a score, and just what I think of the game so far. If you want to hang out, I will be live a lot next weekend, as well as playing Star Wars Zero Company at the end of the week. Twitch is linked down below. I also play Apex, Warzone, whatever, if you want to come hang out live. But I don't have to explain. Normally I explain the game. I don't have to explain what Modern Warfare 4 is. It's the fourth game in the revamped Modern Warfare series. This is the beta for multiplayer and a campaign mission. So, going through the cons, first of all, visual recoil. It's much better than it was in MW2. There's still more visual recoil than there was in MW3. Once you can get an Opticon, it's not that bad. Some guns are worse than others, but it's just still more visual recoil than in BO6, BO7, and MW3. And it could definitely be toned down. Now, the muzzle smoke was toned way down. It's barely even there. It's not an issue. So if they could just tweak the visual recoil some, I think we'd be in a really good place with how guns feel, at least with iron sights. Like I said, once you put an optic, or at least a 1x on, that pretty much goes away, and it's not too bad. The next is spawns. This has plagued Call of Duty for years. It seems like every COD game has bad spawn logic. This is just another one. I don't need to explain further than that, I don't think. Maps. The maps in Weekend 1 were not good. You have Transit 213, which is the new Shipment, but it's much worse and rattier and less fun than even Shipment. And the other maps, you know, they all have some sort of 3 lanes, but all those 3 lanes also have a million angles to be peeked from while you're going down the lane. And there's just too much going on between the lanes that it doesn't feel like 3 distinct lanes, and 3-lane maps have always been the most popular COD maps. And just the maps, they felt too busy for just like 66 multiplayer. Kill block was fun, combining different maps, but we'll talk about kill block later. The next con I have is directional voice chat. I don't like in-game chat to be directional. If you're on my squad, I just want to hear you. It's one thing if it's proximity chat in Warzone or whatever, but I just want to be able to hear my teammates. I don't care if they're left, right, close, or far, and all of that matters in the directional chat, and I just don't like that. Luckily, most of the time I'm in Discord, like 99% of the time. But if I'm not, I don't want the directional proximity chat. Not a fan of that. The next thing is the best play cam. It was a cool gimmick at first, but there's a lot of speed ups and slowdowns, and I think it's just too much. I don't think it's that cool. I don't think it's that great. And if you have a cheater, which is a COD problem, it's hard. They often get the play of the game, and their best play cam now will make it harder to tell if they're cheating or not. So I'm not a fan. Those are my cons. Moving on to the so-sos. The so-so I have, the first so-so I have is the mantle change. Now, originally this was in pros, but then I started to get frustrated by it. You mantle quicker, and if you have ledges close together, you can like chain mantles together and almost like push off of a mantle into the next one, and it's a lot smoother. Plus, the mantle speed overall has been sped up and is smooth, so I like that. But I also find that you mantle too easy. I'll be jump shooting next to a ledge and not even looking at it. It'll mantle me up. And I just accidentally mantle on things too much. So maybe that's some of it's a skill issue, but some of the mantle changes have made it too easy to mantle, but I do like the direction that it's going in. The next one is this new knockdown mechanic that they implemented. If an explosion goes off near you, it might not damage you, but it might literally knock you to the ground where you can't aim or anything, and it's like a worse version of stun. It was cool at first. I think the idea of it is cool. I think it's a lot cooler in like campaign, but when you're in 6v6, especially like Transit 213, you're going to get knocked to the ground and just killed because you can't look around very fast at all. You can't move. You can't ADS for a second. I'm going to put you at a real disadvantage. I would rather just get like a stun effect like you do in previous COD games, or just not take damage at all. And then finally is the TTK. I do think some guns TTKs were way too fast. Some were fine. It's more of a gun balance issue than a TTK. The overall TTK was a little bit fast, hence why they slowed it down during the first weekend. So it's definitely in a better place. There is still some guns that kill way too fast, but the TTK is just fine. It's not horrible. It's not great. But moving on to the pros, as usual, the graphics are amazing. The campaign looked amazing. The multiplayer graphics looked great. All of it looked really good. But that's what we expect out of Call of Duty, especially the Infinity Ward games. They nail the realistic graphics really well. Then we have the campaign mission. The campaign mission was good. It was a good preview to the campaign. And if you're into COD campaigns, you probably like the Infinity Ward ones. And this one looks to be just as good as the other Infinity Ward ones. It looks to be shaping up to be a typical Infinity Ward campaign, which is a great thing. Next, we have Footsteps. Footsteps started out the weekend very loud, which I'm actually fine with. Because it's better than bad footstep audio. Then they turn them down. I think they almost might have been a little too quiet, but they are present pretty much every single time, so I do like the footsteps. But it's easy to get the footsteps to get lost in all the other audio because they made them so quiet. I'm still going to leave it in the pros, but I wish they would find an in-between from the volume before and the volume now to try to make everybody happy. The next pro I wrote down was Kill Block. If you don't know what Kill Block is, it is an ever-changing map mode where the map is broken out into 3 sections, and the 3 sections are sections from past Call of Duty maps, and so like past Infinity Ward maps. And so each section's a different part of the map. It changes. This weekend was Gunfight as the preview, and so every 2 rounds it would change as well as your weapons, just like Gunfight does. And it was just an interesting way to mix up the gameplay and something that I thought was good, and it was fun. Then next we have the other mode, which was the mobility course, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a course for movement. Targets pop up. You can shoot the targets, take a second off of your time. There's a beginner level, a medium level, an intermediate level, and an expert level. I got an A+ on the beginner and intermediate. I couldn't do better than a C- the times I tried the expert. If you want to watch an amazing run, go watch Reed Boy. Reed Boy is an amazing run, but the mobility course is fun. They have tutorials and they have the actual time courses, so you can learn the differences in movement for Modern Warfare 4, the mantling, you can climb up poles, slide down poles. The mobility course helps you learn all of that. And then finally, weapon leveling. At first, the weapon leveling looks really daunting. You see all these weapons with 40, 50, 60-something levels. You're like, oh my god, this again? But they're sharing attachments across weapons, which, form your own opinion on that. But they're sharing attachments across weapons, and now when you unlock a muzzle for one AR for the Han, then you go to level up the M4, but that muzzle shared with the M4, it now skips that level. So if that's like level 5, instead of going from level 4 to 5 to 6, you just go from level 4 to 6. So all of a sudden, you're leveling up one gun 65 levels, but the next gun's 15, the next gun's 12, the next gun's 10. And there is some shared attachments between different weapon classes, and so it will speed up the weapon leveling, even though it looks very daunting at first. And I think it's a really good system that just hasn't been properly explained to the player base, so it looks daunting and scary at first, but it's actually a really nice system. So those are all the pros, the so-sos, and the cons I have. What do I think? I think that this is overall a potentially good COD game. I'm not going to put it as great yet. I feel like it's somewhere between MW2 and MW3 in the way that it plays, where it doesn't feel as fluid and smooth, and there's more visual recoil compared to MW3, but compared to MW2, the movement's way less clunky, the movement's way better, there's a lot less visual recoil, visual smoke. Where I'm wary is the last Infinity Ward game we had was Modern Warfare 2, and in Modern Warfare 2, we had the beta had better movement, less visual recoil, less visual muzzle smoke. It felt like it was going to be a really good game. They got feedback on some of the stuff that didn't work. They didn't change any of that. They kept all the things that were bad and improved and ruined some of the things that were good. And we got MW2. I don't need to go over that, but we all know that was a disaster. And the worst COD in the modern COD era from 2019 on was MW2. And so that was a big issue, and that does make me wary, but it feels like we're a good starting point, and as long as they don't do what they did during the MW2 beta and take a step back, I think we're in a place to get a good COD, not a great COD. It's not going to be as good as Cold War or MW3, or I still think BO6 and BO7 get too much hate. I don't think it'll be good as those, but it will be as good, maybe slightly worse, slightly better, somewhere on par with MW19, and much better than MW2, and I'm personally a Vanguard defender, but I'm not even going to put that one in there. So, overall, I think if you're just a fan of core COD and you're not super picky about COD, you will enjoy it because it's more of the same with different guns and maps and operators, and kill blocks going to be added and all of that. So if you're just a fan of COD in general and you're not super picky and you just like the new CODs every year, you'll like this game. If you're super picky and like MW3 is what you're looking for, you're not going to quite find it here. But if you're just looking for better than MW2, you'll find it here. I do think we're at a good foundation. I mean, I played 24 hours. I played the one campaign mission, which was like 25 minutes. I probably spent 20 to 30 minutes of that in maybe an hour in the mobility course, and the other 22 hours in multiplayer, kill block, respawn modes, whatever. And I enjoyed it. Like I said, not the best, not my absolute favorite in the modern era, but I really enjoyed it. I think we're at a good place. I think Infinity Ward just needs to listen to feedback and do the right things with the feedback, and not take step backs like we've seen them do in previous years. So I'm hopeful. Right now I'm going to give it a tentative 7 out of 10. I thought about 6.5. I thought about 7.5. We're just going to land right in the middle at 7 out of 10. It just seems like a good COD, not a great COD, not a bad COD. I'm definitely looking forward to the beta in the second weekend, especially with getting a look at the new Resurgence map. And I'll probably do a review again next week after that beta weekend. Because of Star Wars Zero Company, I won't be able to get in 24 hours, but I will make sure I put in a good amount of time in the beta, and I'm able to provide a good review on weekend 2, talk about the changes between the two and all of that. But like I said, good foundation so far for MW4. Not great. Some things could improve. Some things are looking really good. 7 out of 10. But let me know what you think in the comments down below about the Modern Warfare 4 beta. And check out the links in the description for Instagram, TikTok, car, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, hiking, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, as well as my Twitch, which I already mentioned. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you like my content and you want to see it first. I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful day. Bye.